So that's Damilola. We were waiting for her. So as I was giving you all that gist, you know. So okay, let me spotlight your video. Okay. All right. Okay, so your slide is ready. Okay, so you can start.
Okay. Good morning, everybody. I'm so sorry. I was just asked to change my initially allotted time slot. So I'm very sorry for keeping you waiting. Okay. Good morning, everybody. I don't know.
Good morning. We can hear you. We can hear you.
No, this one is fine. I hope you can. Okay. I should just go ahead. Okay, no problem.
Yes, just go ahead. Just go ahead. They are listening on Facebook and YouTube.
Oh, really? That's cool. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you, everyone, for joining, and thank you for the opportunity. This is my first public speaking engagement. I live 2 lives.
Wow. The network is really bad.
I'll be speaking to you today.
Okay.
As an artist and of the session, talking about children, how to help them and how to set them on the right path. So I would be, let me Wi-Fi. It may take me out for a minute, but I'll be.
Okay, so you give us a dear viewers, please give us a minute, okay? You know, we're in Nigeria and our network has a mind of its own. So, you know, just give Damilola 1 or 2 minutes. Okay, so like I was talking about my neighbor, she was like 10 at the time. Because I was.
Am I back now or am I out?
Yes, you're back. Oh, okay.
I'm back.
You're
okay,
back.
So it was.
Yes.
So I should have been using the home Wi-Fi. Before I just came out, I was using my phone Wi-Fi. So I actually put the gen on to make sure that I could use the home Wi-Fi for this session. I didn't know I had not changed it.
Oh wow. Okay,
yes.
Thank you. So you can start now. I think. Okay, I'm gonna mute myself.
Okay, so I think we should be fine. I hope everybody can hear me clearly now. It should be way better than my phone. Okay, that's good. So I'm sure she has done the introduction. So I'm Dami the artist. So that's what I do. So the topic given to me is from dreaming to execution. From dreaming to execution. So this is my outline. Dream, let them dream. The children, in fact, whether you let them or not, they are dreaming. You know, they come up to you with so many ideas. They come up to you with so many ideas from their own thoughts and imagination. So you actually can't stop them from dreaming. They go ahead and dream every now and then, you know. So you can go to the next slide, Shion. You can actually go to the 3rd slide. Talking about dreams, there's really nothing to discuss here. I don't know if we can make this session interactive, just for me to get the feeling that people are there, you know.
Okay, we can interact with you, you know, but we had reasons for making it just on Zoom, you know, so that we have.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine.
Yes,
so
I'll be here with you.
Okay, that's fine. So there's nothing to discuss about dreaming. Your children are dreaming every day. You know, they are, when they are sleeping, they are dreaming. When they see anything, they're dreaming about what they can do to it. They are imagining all sorts of things. They are telling you, Mommy, can I do this? Can I do that? So you actually can't stop them from dreaming. The children dream. The only thing you can stop them from doing in terms of artistic endeavors is to like stifle it or stop them or restrain them based on your own mindset, or maybe your home setup. Maybe there are some things you do not want them to do. But I hope that at the end of this session, we'll see that there is no limit to how much exploration we can allow the children to have. You know, even the psychologists will say that art as a whole helps children to develop in so many other ways. Even if your child is going to become a robotic engineer, just exploring artistically would also help that, you know, at the end of the day. So there's nothing to discuss about dreaming. Let them be, let them dream, let them come up to you with their ideas. Even when it doesn't sit well with you, you don't have to say that, oh, no, you can't do that. I think it's better to just say, oh, you can do that, but we don't have the resources for you to do it now. Maybe when I go out, I would find a way around it to help you. Because the children, they do not like to hear that they cannot do something that they have thought about in their minds. They've probably created it in their imagination already, and then you come out to say that you can't do this. I think that's always something that deflates their ego and their morale, and they may not come to you another time. And little by little, you begin to kill that creative spirit in the child. Okay, so we can go to the next one. So we have to be on the lookout. We as parents to children, we have to continually be on the lookout for their artistic tendencies. You know, you have some children that anything they see is a drum. You know, something should tell you that that child has something in him that wants to become maybe a percussionist or a drummer. And it's gone are the days where you think that drumming is nothing. You know, drummers win Grammys now, you know. So I think it's very important that we let them explore and we let them do anything that they want to do. If your child is the type that is always cutting up his school books for one reason or the other, if your child is always cutting up his school books, you know, of course, it would infuriate you initially that, your school books, but it would help if his last term's book, you don't throw them away or give them out. You keep them for him to cut up as he likes, you know, so that he can continue to explore that part of him that wants to cut things up. I'm not saying you should cut up your even if it's cutting up your sofa. I know that's the extreme, but maybe you find something else for him to cut up, because there's some part of him that wants to explore by maybe cutting up shapes, putting them together, or even some children even just cut up and stuff in maybe a bag. And you would be surprised at the way children interact with these things and how impactful it can be on the person or on the child's future endeavors. You know, I remember while growing up, I used to be very good with the hammer, you know, because my dad was he was into construction. So I used to be very precise with the hammer. So I'm not surprised now that I can, like some of my artworks, if you've seen any of my artworks, I haven't counted, but I know sometimes as many as, let me say, 3,000 nails might go onto one of them. And I'm yet to have my first bleeding episode from hammering, you know. And that's something that I picked up from when I was a kid. I used to be very good with hammering things with precision. So I think it's important that we let the kids explore. You know, if your child likes to stay with you, maybe when you're fixing something minor in your car, it's important that you let the child stay with you, especially if it's not something that is going to harm him or her. We can go to the next page. So you have to be on the lookout. You are the one that is going to watch out for. Your child is going to go ahead and try to explore and pursue his own artistic talents. He's going to keep trying and trying. He's going to push your limits, trying to do stuff, here and there. You have to try to be patient. That's the first thing I'm going to say, because sometimes you may have a kid that starts to scribble or doodle on your wall. I don't know if you've seen any of those videos where I think we're moving too fast. Let's go back 2 slides. Yeah, right here. Let's stay here. So like some people have these children that when they start school initially, they start to write on your wall. I know it's somehow for you because that's your living room or something, but you could create you could buy a strip of wallpaper in the child's room and put it on that side and tell that child, all these things that you want to write on the wall, please go ahead and write it here. I don't want you to write it in the living room, but you can knock yourself out in your own room. Not that you now tell the child point blank, don't let me see you scribbling on my wall ever again. Not every child likes to write in a book, so maybe that's his own way, his or her own way of expressing himself or herself. So it's important that whatever your child is doing now and you find it a bit offensive, find a way to let that child do it in his own, at least it's his room. If you say maybe your own room is out of bounds or your living room, then create a small corner and put or you can buy a board if you don't find that investment to be too much, buy a whiteboard so it can scribble, clean off, scribble, clean off, scribble, clean off, so that the child keeps doing. I hope you can hear me.
Yes, we're hearing you.
Yes,
I'm
please.
listening. Yeah.
Okay, because I'm getting a chat. Okay, no problem. I hope you all can hear me.
We can hear you.
So you have to ensure that you can go back 1 slide. I'm actually go back to the slide where we have the four points.
Okay.
Yes, this page. Thank you. So you have to be patient and let your kids explore. I know some people are going to push back and say, and do you know how much I've furnished my living room? Some children would even write on your sofa. So it's better you go get sofa fabric cleaner. So as they are writing, you're cleaning. Once you can't create an alternative outlet for the child to express that part of him or her, So you're going to be very patient with the child, because once you say, don't do this, and there's no alternative, the child is going to stop expressing that part of him completely, And then the next point would be encourage. Oh, we cannot stress this enough. Your child built something, in your heart of heart that this thing is so ugly. What kind of painting is this? You'll be wondering, you'll be thinking that, is this how Picasso started? This thing is so ugly. Are you sure you can go all those thoughts, let them be in your own mind. You cannot express that to a child who is just starting to explore. It's not done. You have to keep those thoughts. In fact, when the child brings it to you, it's not like you're lying. You're going to say, wow, this is a very nice try, but I think you can do this. You can do it this way. You can do it this other way. You have to give. If the child comes to say, Mommy, see what I built, and you just say, I beg, I'm not ready. That's another problem. You have to give that feedback at that point that, wow, if you're busy, you can say, I like that, but let me hold on to my thoughts. I'm going to come back to you in a few minutes. Let me finish what I'm doing. You cannot go at a child with your very fast, please, I'm not ready to look at any, or your child is the type that sketches and brings his sketchbook to you, and you're like, I can't review, or maybe the child has done like 10 pages. You can't tell that child that I can't review this sketch now. I'm not even an artist now. What's my own with all these things that you're drawing? You have to put on the cap of a mentor and an artist, or whatever name you'd like to call it, and make sure that you give that feedback at that point in time. You have to just give that feedback. Then another thing is, if your child is doing stuff that are creative. Don't make it look like his own fun is troubling you, or his fun is too should I say infantile for you to deal with. Like you have so many issues to deal with, like you're too busy. You have to get into the body of a child and enjoy. Sometimes my son is 10-year-old, he's telling me some things. I'm like, this thing is so, it's so babyish. This thing you're telling me. So I'm too busy for this kind. And I'm actually very, very, very busy. Very busy. Well, I'll just be like, oh, nice. He's even trying to tell me some things about robots that I can't be bothered about. So sometimes the first reaction is to say, please, young man, I'm not ready for this. But I'll try to say, okay, wow. Oh, I see where you're going with this. This looks good, you know. That way your child, if your child has shared something with you before, mommy see this, and your child has not come to show you any other thing, just know that you've goofed already, because your child was the type that used to share stuff with you before, like create things, scribble things. So children even fold paper. Do you know those funny origami stuff that children do? They even come and show you. To you, it looks so basic, but to them, it's such a big deal that they were able to create something out of paper and it looks this way. You cannot tell that child, what's this one? No. We won't. You won't do that. You're going to tell the child, wow, I see. Can you make a bigger one? Can you make it with other colorful paper? Can you? Oh, I see. Can you tie a rope at the edge and make it drop? You know, that's the way we help them to. We see the fun in it with them, and we let them also practice, and we let them dream, and we let them actualize their dreams in terms of creativity. You know, so you also have to engage them. Don't say that your child is too small to ask questions. You engage them, because by asking them questions, you're leading them to become critical thinkers and creative thinkers. You know, you're leading them to become critical thinkers and creative thinkers. So we can go ahead. So you don't ever say to your child that, oh, that thing is not beautiful. That's not how Picasso started. I doubt this is how Picasso started painting. This thing is somehow, you know, we don't say that. The next one is, please don't let them hang things in your room. Let them hang things in your room. It won't hurt. How many people do you let into your bedroom in the first place? Or let them hang in their own rooms, you know. Let them create stuff and arrange them in their own room. As they're doing that, if you don't like the way they've put them together, maybe it's disorganized. It's our duty to help them to say, organize it in this kind of way. Okay, why don't you, if your child is the type that creates things and just drops it on the floor, you're going to have to bring out one of the bowls in your store for storing food and say, okay, take this bowl, all this your stuff that you're creating, you can store them here. It's not for you to say, all these things you have created, I am going to trash them. I don't like them. I don't want them hanging around the house. No. That's not the way to go. You're going to have to, maybe it's your Gary bowl that you maybe your Gary will have to stay in the sack for a while if you're not ready to go out and buy a new bucket with cover, and then you give it to the child for him to continue to do his what do I call it? Should I say creative exploration? Yes, you have to do that. So we can go to the next slide. I hope you can still hear me, Shion. I hope it's still clear.
Yes, I'm hearing you. I'm listening to you.
Okay. I hope you're feeling me, because I don't get any feelers or any feedback, you know.
Don't worry.
I hope people, okay, that's fine.
I'm feeling you. So trust me. You will see comment. When you see comments, you will know. Okay, those are there on Facebook.
Okay.
So I did this so this won't distract anybody.
It's all right. I understand. Thank you.
Okay, so
the next one will be, oh, let's nurture. Keep nurturing. You know, you're the mother or you're the father. It's your duty to nurture anything. Don't even try to say, this talent. There's no scale for talent. So there's no measuring scale. There's no, in fact, you need to see, somebody recently was creating bags with pure water nylon. I don't know how how else can you weigh that? How, as in, if somebody is packing pure water nylon, people pack plastic bottles will be thinking, oh, they want to use it to sell zobo or sell groundnuts. Somebody is picking up pure water sachets all over the place, solving a major environmental problem, and then creating bags from it.
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
how
I saw
insanely
that. That's
creative can
amazing.
that? Yes, amazing. That's insanely creative. You imagine if it's your own son now that started to pick pure water sachets and is just keeping them in your store. You just be looking at him that, what's going on here? How can you be picking people's pure water sachets? And the best thing for you to do is to go and create a cupboard outside your backyard and let him store it there for whatever, for whatever he wants to do with it, and then help him fine-tune that idea. If you need to call an engineer to build or fabricate whatever he wants to fabricate, I know that may be cost intensive, but I want us to begin to go there, in our thoughts, if you have to evacuate one of your standalone cupboards in the house and take it to the backyard and say, okay, this thing that you've started to keep or that you have started to pack, I actually can't let it in the house, but you can keep them here while you fine-tune your ideas on what you want to do. It's okay. That's a big encouragement for your child. And that idea doesn't have to work. That idea can fail. Okay? It doesn't take anything away from the child. It doesn't. It moves on to the next one. Even if your child says, I want to build a spaceship, he may not be able to build one. You don't tell him, hey, have you been to NASA? Go and Google NASA. Do you see all the gadgets that are there? Your child is saying spaceship. Yes, his spaceship may be with cardboard. Please let him build his own robots. His robots may not move. His robots may not be AI powered. His robots may not even be able to even bounce. But if he calls it his own space something robots, yes, that is it. My son, the little things they create, is always giving them names, and I'm just like, who is this character? Who is this character? I'll just be laughing on my own, but I never let him see that I'm like, this is interesting. But he goes away from me with the idea that he can build anything with his cubes or with his toys. I'll just be looking at it. Some things he will even say he wants to do, I already know that he cannot achieve them based on the resources that we have at the material. I'll never say no. I'll say, wow, okay, yeah, you want to try that, yes. You want to try that, yes. And there are some days he's frustrated at it. He moves on to the next one. Sometimes when he's about to drop that idea, I'll tell him, quitters don't win. Winners don't quit. Say, oh, mommy, I've been at this for too long. I said, don't worry. Maybe you should leave it for a while and come back to it. If your child brings a piece of art or anything to you, I think we is beyond art. This creative discussion is beyond art. Is anything. Maybe your own child even likes to make clothes for her dolls, and she brings the clothes to you. I was surprised recently when my daughter, she had one doll that had become naked. We didn't find the dress, so she cut her socks. She cut it into 2 tubes. So one was the skirt, the other one was the tube top. I was like, this is serious. So, thank God it was an old pair of socks. Maybe that's where guidance would have come, because if she had used one of the socks that she's using to school, I said, socks that I just bought. Oh my, why are you doing this? It was an old pair, so I didn't mind. I was like, maybe a pair of socks she wore like 3 years ago. So I was like, wow. So the doll is now clothed. She's not an artist, but she likes to play with dolls. That's also another way of explaining. She talks to them. They sleep on her bed. I don't know what she discusses with them, because I didn't have many dolls growing up. My mom was too hardcore for all that, but she's lucky she has them. When they come to you with something, don't say, Kilele. I'm sorry, I'm speaking Yoruba, but don't say, what's this? Like, you have to say, wow, what are you, can I get into your head? What were you trying to do? What were you trying to build? That's the way to do it, not by saying, who is going to buy this thing? This thing is not going to go anywhere. I saw one of my friends, she does, she sells toys. That's all she does. She has a big store where she sells toys. And I'm like, this is serious. And people buy toys for their children because there's a lot of research on how they impact children with fine motor skills, creative skills. Because some children are even the only kids of their parents right now. If they don't have toys, how do they play? when they're home. That's their own way of exploring. They'll talk to their toys. They'll talk to the cars. They'll move the cars. If they have toy cars, they'll do all sorts. There's another person on YouTube whose job, one of the richest kid millionaires right now. So some of the things your child is doing that you think it's a joke. Your child, maybe you bought him a toy and your child has explored that toy and comes to say to you that, oh, mommy, look at this toy. It can do this, it can do that. And you're like, you're not interested. There's a kid on YouTube, you could look it up. All he does is to unbox toys and review it. He's one of the kid, is he a millionaire or a billionaire now? I don't know. By Nigerian standards, he's a big boy, I think he's about 10. If your own child says that, yes, oh, mommy, I want to, every time you buy me a toy, I want to like explore it. I want to like do a small video, even if I don't share it on YouTube. I'll share it to my friends. Say, no. I don't have time. Who's going to start recording you? But that's what that boy, I don't know if that boy is going to grow up and go look for a federal government job. But it's definitely not going to do that. Something as mundane as unboxing toys, okay, is what that guy is. I don't know how many. He will probably liberate his generation by going by the sheer volume of money that he's making from doing that. So in this era of content creation, anything that is spectacular that your child is doing, you cannot afford to be the one to kill it. Ask them questions, give them a starter. Some people every day they buy newspaper. Their newspaper, once they read it, they will allow Iyaoni, Google or whatever to come and pack it. No, leave the newspaper. Let your child play with it. Let your child, maybe some children will even make balls from newspaper, Let your child, don't just give things out just to say, oh, you're decluttering the house. Think about what your child can do with that thing and give it to your child to play with it, When you're going to school, when you're taking them to school or you're taking them out, they're seeing shapes, they're seeing figures, talk about it. They don't ask you a question about something they've seen and you're just like, no, I'm not in the mood to talk. Talk about it because you don't know what that discussion is going to inspire in the child. Yeah. Then some people nowadays, they say, children are to be programmed 8 to 9, so 9 to 10, so 10 to 11, this is what we do. 12 to 1, this is what you do. 4 to 5, please, as you are planning those structured activities, kindly leave some space for them to explore, for them to think, for them to be by themselves. Some people will say, when your child is by himself, just that he's up to something bad. No, it's not true. Sometimes when they are by themselves, they are up to magic. They are cooking up a storm. They're cooking up, it may not appear like a storm to you, but they are cooking up a storm. They're cooking up something that could transform the world. Your child could tell you, I'm going to build. Your child may even come and tell you that, oh, I'm going to build a battery-powered car. We know they exist already, but you're not going to tell your child that that one ambition. Elon Musk has done that one already. No, you leave him. You grow into it, and then you see that, oh, that's been done already. He may bring his own innovative twist to it. There's not everything has been done. No. Not everything has been done. There's so much more that hasn't been done. So if your child is telling you now, oh, maybe he didn't even know that he exists, and he says, I'm going to build a battery-powered car, don't just tell your child that, Junior, battery-powered car that you've not heard of Tesla, that they've been using since. No. Even if you tell him that, oh, do you know they exist already? The way you say it is not the way that deflates the child and says that, they've done this one already. Oh, I'm done. There's no other thing I can do. No. The way you tell him is, oh, somebody has done that, but I know you can put your own spin to it. Don't worry. Just go and look up so and see how far they've gone and what they've done. And then your own child too will be like, okay, they've done this. I can go here. I can go this way. I can enhance it in this way. And then the sky is not the limit. So we can move on from this page.
Okay.
So I'll just dwell on this page a bit. So I know the first thing that comes to people's mind when they say you want to nurture any kind of artistic endeavor, we start thinking, am I going to be buying acrylic paints? Do you know how expensive they are? I cannot add that to my budget right now. I can't create a budget for art supplies. In fact, if you can create a budget for art supplies, very, very fantastic. But if you can't create, no need, because there are more than enough things for your child to paint with, even in your house. In fact, a lot. If daddy buys newspaper is good for collage. You know, if you cannot buy glue, there's fufu or eba. You know, there is no limit to. We
Ah,
at some we always have leftover eba sometimes, and if you don't have leftover eba, add a little more spoons of gari to make the eba for your child to glue with. It's really that simple. If you don't want to buy glue, and I'm sure it's not as if we cannot buy glue, but some people don't want to be bothered. But if you cannot buy glue, please add a little more Gary so that, or tell him, he can even, you can tell him, okay, you can leave some of your own ever for your art stuff. You know, it's really that simple. There are even some glues that are like really, really cost effective, like this top bond. If you buy a big jar, like not
yeah.
even a big jar, maybe a jar of like 1,000 naira. I cannot even begin to tell you how long it would last your child to do whatever it
For
wants to do. It's going to
years.
last him,
Years.
yes, really, really long before he goes through it. So it's
And you
not
can
a
dilute
big
it.
investment. Exactly. And you can dilute it as well, you know. So buy top bond. If your child says, Mommy, buy glue, you cannot be saying, I don't want a mess. Don't buy glue. No, it doesn't work. That means your child is not going to explode. It's only going to keep, and it's very challenging to have things in your head and you cannot bring them down on paper. You know, it's not bring them down to reality. There are so many things I've tried to create that is until I did it, I saw that it wasn't possible. And I learned from it. It's not a crime to do something that doesn't work. It's not. You have to bring that idea down and try to. There are some things that I'll be like, my husband will say, oh, that's a fantastic idea. It's when I start the implementation, I'll be like, it wasn't such a fantastic idea after all. But at least I tried and I found out that it wasn't a it wasn't a fantastic idea, you know. So if your child needs to draw, A4 paper is fine. You don't need to buy any spectacular, expensive paper. Buy A4 paper. I think a roll or is it a rim? I don't. That would take so long. Spiral, but do them the favor of getting it spiral bound so that it can be like you can even put hardcover. So you take it to another level. That wouldn't be a huge investment. And if your child likes to sketch, let him sketch on. In fact, before he goes through, I think he has more than 500 sheets. Before he goes through that one, he would have, it would have served a very good purpose. You have some kind of furniture in the house that is bad, maybe your old table, just throw it and let somebody come and take it and go and use it to cook. No, let your child play with it. Let him paint on it, you know. Let him be artistic with it. He can paint on it, he can draw on it, he can decide to carve with it if the child is grown enough to handle blades. He can decide to carve with the wood. You know, your wall, your room. How many people enter your room? If your baby likes to scribble, give him or her one corner to scribble there on your wall. You know, if you don't want them, there's one I do because I actually don't like my daughter likes to scribble on walls. So we have sticky notes. So instead of scribbling on walls, she does on the sticky notes and then she sticks it on the, she's always writing letters and everything. So she plenty of sticky notes. That sticky notes, by the time you buy that big one, in fact, for a long time, the child will be sticking. You know, that's not if you don't want them to, but if you are nice enough to let them paint on the wall, let them write there. Good thing, you can even do these satin paints that you can wipe off. You know, you can do that so that, and you can let them paint on your body too. Face painting. There's some people that make a lot of money from face painting. Please give me.
Yes. Okay.
Now, yeah, so
Okay.
so let
Next
them
one.
paint on your face. So go and check Laolu NYC on Instagram. It's painting on people's body. Beyonce, who else? Serena Williams, you know. It's painting, just painting. Now he has for years now he's had deals with Nike, to paint on their trainers. So please let your children paint anywhere. Allow them to paint. Paint watercolor is not expensive. That's more watercolor. They'll dilute it, they'll paint with it. Let them collage, let them put things together. Your wrapper, your old wrapper, let them put it. Buy them if your child is too small to use the big scissors. They are child safe scissors. Those are the little
Child-friendly
investments
scissors.
that, yes, you buy those ones, your child can cut on. Keep cutting and cutting. Put them together on maybe a board, maybe a cheap plywood board that is like maybe 3,000 naira. That would, if you buy a plywood board that is like, let me say, half-inch thickness or maybe a quarter-inch thickness, you're talking about an investment of like 5,000, and the child would have 8 by 4 feet of space to do stuff with. That would really, really last a long time. So your child can stick on that board.
Yes.
The old curtain. You don't have to, if you have 6, if you change the curtains in your house and you have 6, and you want to bless somebody with them, you can leave one for your child and bless somebody with the other 5, so that your child can also have something to explore with, so that you don't have to make any kind of monetary investment in buying stuff. There are old school books. I know sometimes we like to pass them down, but keep a few for them also to explore with. You can buy them kitchen foil, or if you have, you can every now and then, because that has a bit of shimmer, or should I say spice, to their collage. Let them just take a few strips of the kitchen foil and then use it as part of their artwork. Old gift wrappers, you don't have to trash them. Can just keep one bag. If you don't like, I know some people don't like to have any clutter. Just keep one box somewhere that you just throw things in that your kids can explore, play with. Old ribbons, thread, buttons. You've had some clothes that you're not wearing again. They have a lot of buttons. Let your children take off the buttons. Let them play with it. If you can spare tissue paper as well, give them, let them play with it. It will definitely help them. It will help them explore. Some as they go, it may not be beautiful the first time, like we said earlier, but as they go on, they're going to bring one day that you don't even want them to, you even want to keep for yourself. You don't want them to throw it away. You're like, wow, this thing that was like a joke before has become a serious thing. Something to draw with. Paper and pencil is fine, markers are fine, biro, some children draw with biro. Just let them. Don't say, oh, don't use your school biro to paint. So what are you going to use in school? Buy extra biros. Let the child scribble, paint, doodle, anything they want to do. Let them do with it. There are also cheap paints that come in buckets that are okay for the children to use. It may not be okay for a professional artist, but it's fine for the children to use. Then you don't need to say, oh, you cannot paint, you don't have apron. What is apron? Daddy's old t-shirts are there. If you also have, you can even, if you did home economics, you can make your own child's apron. If you know that you don't want him or her to stain his or her clothes, and then they can use
Yes.
their old clothes. Your children can use
Yes.
not every one of their clothes that you just ship off. You can keep some of their old pajamas and say, oh, this is for you. When you want to do your art, wear this one. That's the
Wear
way the child
this.
will know that you even have an interest in helping them.
And they
So
would love it. They would actually love that.
yes, they will. And daddy's t-shirts are, they may be big for them, so they are flowing, so they will cover the whole stuff. You can just put a peg at the neck just to hold it in place and
On the
make sure
back.
that, yes, at the back, exactly. So I think we can move on. I think with this few points of mine, I've been able to convince and not confuse you that we should let them explore. So this
Yes.
is like next level. You want to broaden, yes. If you want to broaden their worldview, or you want to like help them to take it to the next level, you can showcase them. Maybe you're at a family party. You could say, oh, at this family party, Junior is going to teach his cousins how to paint, and then you go with tiny boards, or you tell your siblings, oh, when your kids are coming, let them bring tiny boards because they will be doing a bit of painting at the event. That's a way to broaden that um, broaden and deepen the child's understanding. Him also, by teaching other people, he learns more. You expose them to different kind of pursuits. You don't restrict them. You find openings for them to express themselves. You can introduce them to the achievements and techniques of experts on YouTube. There's such a huge wealth of information online that we can carefully guide them to access, not for comparison to say, oh, you can't do this much. No, but for inspiration. you know if there are local art contests in your area or in your locality, you can enter your child to be a part of such an event. You can begin to share their work responsibly on YouTube and that's content creation, and grow a following
Yes.
from there. So there's no limit to what we can help them to achieve, to make sure that as they dream, they execute. Because there's we don't many dreams that are in people's heads, we don't see them until it's executed, whether very well or woefully. But the most important thing is the person tried to do something. So we have to we can't stop. We have to keep them encouraged in our own little way. You don't need to make any huge investment. If you can make huge investment, very good. There are a lot of art stores at Ojuelegua side in Lagos. There are even some online on Instagram that you can buy lovely materials from. But if you don't want to do any of those expensive stuff, you can use whatever is within your reach. Those Christmas decorations that you've changed, don't throw them away. They are very shiny. Don't throw them away. Allow your children to play with them. Allow them to use them in their collage or in their painting. If your child is the type that likes to do beads, yes, provide the beads, buy the materials. Let your child express himself or herself. If they like to fold paper, please, by all means, provide. In fact, in your office, if your office is the type that it's one of those offices where they still buy newspapers for people, ask people for their newspapers, and take them home to your children and let them. Newspapers, I don't know if you remember this thing called paper mache. You think that thing that we did in
Oh,
secondary school is
yes.
just you think it's just a low class. No. You need to see some paper mache that are being sold for God knows how much. Every little thing that we learned in fine arts class back then that looked like, this one is just a small thing. No, some people have blown it out of proportion. Even leaf painting. How hard can it be for you to
Yes.
get leaves in your estate? You give your
Nobody,
children, you
they
have
don't
to make
sell
that
leaves now.
sacrifice. 2 plates. Just give them 2 plates from the kitchen. That these 2 plates, I've donated it to your art world. You know, I've donated these 2 plates, these 2 flat plates. You don't need to go buy a separate art plate or art item from any shop. No, these 2 plates, I've donated them to your art ministry. You give it to them, and then you buy them cheap watercolor, and then you get leaves, and you say, okay, this is if you want to if you want to make it more interesting, instead of A4 paper, buy A3 paper. Even that one is not expensive. It's bigger. It will fascinate the child more. And if it's A4, you're okay with, buy it. So you just spiral bind it and let your child do leaf painting in it. One day you will pick out those leaf paintings, you will frame it and put it on the wall. You will be surprised. People will be looking at it that, is this regular leaf painting? When you frame it up and put it on the wall, you can actually sell it for let me put a price to it. You can sell it for 50,000 naira. Something that's ridiculous. Or is it string art? I don't know if you can see the one at my back. This
I
one we
can
were
see it.
taught.
Oh, I
Yes,
can
yes.
see it.
We were taught this in secondary school. Honestly, I can't begin to express how much of a blessing it's been to me. As simple as it appears. String arts, people would still appreciate it. People would use it to beautify their home. So if your child is the type that likes to string things together, you should definitely let them string things together. Yeah.
Okay.
So
So,
pretty
okay, the next one.
think
Okay.
yeah. Oh, we're
Oh,
actually done. So the
we're
world
done,
is
yeah.
their oyster. Please let them explore. Don't limit them. It's every mindset. If you were not allowed to do it as a kid, it doesn't mean that you have to extend that to your children. Please, for God's sake, allow them to do their stuff, allow them to play, allow them to come to you with their ideas. If you cannot provide, if you don't have the time now, reschedule, like make it a date to do it later instead of never. So I don't know how I did with time,
Oh, you
but
did very well, actually. We are done.
oh, thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. We should be thanking you. Thank you so, so much for your session. And in fact, I'm eyeing this your string arts, but we can talk about that later. So I listed a few questions, but you seem to have answered like everything. You've answered, I listed like
Oh,
four
I see.
questions, but you've answered three out of them
Oh,
already.
I see. That's cool.
Yes. So, because one of the things I asked was, what do you do differently with your children? But you've already answered.
Okay.
So I'm just going to ask you one more, just one question. Okay. So, and then we'll check if, okay, before I ask you, for our viewers on YouTube and Facebook, if you have questions for Damilola, please write them down in the comment section. We'll get to them so that she can answer. Okay. Okay. So let me ask mine while we look for the questions. Okay. So my question is, when did you fully? I know that yes, you're still a part-time artist. Like it's still your side hustle. But when did you really launch? When did you launch it as a side hustle, as a side career? You understand? When did you start doing it commercially?
Okay, so that was about 3 years ago now.
Okay.
About 3 years ago, yes, I started. So I started to take it seriously. It started as a joke anyway, you know. Started as a joke. I created one. I remembered my secondary school fine arts class, and I don't know if that was a divine reminder, because I don't know what would have made me remember that at that point in time. So I remembered it, and I tried the first one. So it was my daughter's birthday, I think a few weeks after. So my friends came around and I showed them. I said, do you remember? Because many of the people in my very close circuit, let me say we're six, three of them. So three of us went to the same secondary school. So they could
Okay.
identify with it. The other two that didn't go to that secondary school, they also went to a federal government college. So I guess they did that as well. So they could identify. They were like, wow, this thing we learned it in. I said, yes, we learned it in secondary school. Can you imagine? She was like, no, she loved it. She wants to have it. So I gave it to my friend, and she put it in her house. And that's how we
Wow.
started. And then from string art to nail art, and then to nail portraits, you know and I wasn't taught, so it's okay that I explored everything by myself. So it's okay as your children are exploring. Don't think you need to go pay a specialized art teacher or something. YouTube videos exploring would help them to achieve whatever they want to achieve. If you want them to sign up for art classes, it's okay. But as you're trying to maybe manage your resources,
Yes,
is not
resources.
necessary. So from simple books and simple YouTube videos, there's a lot that can be learned.
Yes.
A lot that can be
Yes.
learned from those resources.
Okay, thank you so so much.
Thank you.
Your string art is like insane. As in, when I looked at it, I was like, is Nelu this same Nelu that somebody is hammering like this? Like, it's amazing. It's amazing.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
So, let me check if we have any questions. Okay, I'm not sure there are any questions. I'm not sure there are any questions. I think your
Okay.
session was very, your
I hope
session
I
was very,
I hope I delivered. I hope it's not that they did not understand everything that I said.
no. You
Okay.
see, you broke it down in simple English, and that's one of the things that I always encourage people to do. If you use a lot of big grammar, people may not be able to understand it properly. But when you break it down into simple English, I mean, I can relate, I can understand, and it's a parenting conference. You are a parent, so like I said, even the things I wanted to ask you about your own children, you've answered them. Do you understand? So
Yes, thank you.
it was very beautiful. It was very beautiful. And in fact, I thank you so much, for letting us for doing this for me, for doing this for the future.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so much. Okay.
Thank you
So
so
we're done
much
with
for
your
the
session.
opportunity.
We're done with
I
your
don't
session. So
know.
you can you can go off now if you want, or you could just stay on and mute
Okay.
yourself and your video. So it's up
Thank
to
you
you.
very much. Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much for your
Thank you.
time. All right. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye. Okay. So you listen to Damilola, okay, and from what she was saying, you could already hear that she's doing what, as in she's doing it with her own children. So she's not just saying, "Oh, you need to do this." You need no. In fact, she gave some tips that I had even forgotten. As a child, I used EBA to glue things. I'd forgotten about that, but that's an option. So basically, what she's saying is, if you can afford it, buy things. But if you can't afford it, there's always a way. Okay. And then one thing she talked about that I find very interesting was when she said stick things on the wall. You may say, oh, you want to mess up your wall. No, consider it a wall collage or a wall of fame. Trust me, it's very beautiful. You see, this is my behind, this is my backdrop. That's what I did. It's a wall of fame. When they paint things, create things, and then they put it on their wall, trust me, that's some kind of a vision board. When they look at it, they'll have more ideas, they'll have better ideas. So you can encourage them. Like Damilola said, you're in your room or you're in your house. Yes, they are in their room. If they want to do it in their room, allow them. Yes, you spent money to design your house, to paint your house. I understand that. But see, your children, the future of your children, it should be equally important to you. Okay. So we have on our next, I think we have on our next speaker. So please just give me a bit. Okay, so while I think we'll take a break for like 5 minutes, so that we can cool off for a little bit, just a 5 minute break. Okay, so we'll be back at 12. It's 12:07 now, so we'll be back at 12 minutes past 12. Okay, I will be here. I'm still going to be talking, but it's more like a brief break. Okay, so